It's Mental Health Monday. Today we're focusing on how athletes can maintain their mental health with help from a local nonprofit, MPOWR Culture. Former D1 athlete Tavares Blanchard now works as a player development coach and mental performance coach for MPOWR, and he's joining us to tell us more. So Tavares, good morning.
Thanks. Good morning, Rosie.
Let's talk a little bit, if we can, about your background.
Okay.
You, of course, played D1 basketball.
Correct.
Can you tell us just a bit about your career as an athlete?
So my career as an athlete, I guess in short, I could add a whole bunch of different pieces and dynamics, but I had a successful high school career. Originally from Little Rock, Arkansas, so that's where I spent my time as a high school athlete. I was fortunate to receive a Division I scholarship to Southwest Texas at the time, which we transitioned into Texas State.
While you were there.
While I was there.
You're proud of being, part of the transition team.
Yeah. And so being able to play there at the what I consider the highest level and compete against the UTs and the Power Fives, it was an incredible experience. Being a captain on the team, and we talked shortly about favorites, having that favoritism, and just being a huge asset to the entire team. And over that, time span, just focusing on just maximize the opportunity. So that's pretty much my story in short.
I know we could go on much longer, couldn't we? But were there ever any, mental health resources that now that we've gotten older, you've started to see or have access to that you thought, we weren't even talking about that stuff back in the early 2000s?
That is very fitting, because it's almost like it didn't exist.
Yeah.
And we didn't have access to it if it did exist. And now that I see the major disparity and the deficiencies in what these young athletes are having to deal with, and all of the barriers and challenges they're having to face, just emotionally, socially, psychologically, social acceptance. You're talking about, the digital world that can push conformity in your face constantly. Mm-hmm. And so we didn't have that stuff. Low on the end of, no cell phones, and it wasn't important for me to always have my phone with me, or even the pressure of, needing to compete and to have a sense of belonging. It's almost like we had to carry that stuff with us in order for us to push past those challenges and barriers. But I believe it would have made a significant difference or played a significant role if we had access to those resources.
Sure. Because even before social media took off, there was still bullying in school. Yeah. There was still bullying from upperclassmen, or you know what I mean? Yeah. And especially when you're in something like basketball or football, where muscle tone is so important, there's kind of image issues.
And it's kind of it's its own fraternity in a sense. Mm-hmm. And so you deal with those internal issues, those barriers. And a lot of times you keep a muzzle to it because you don't want to feel like you're the outcast.
Absolutely.
Hey man, I reported this and this happened to me. So in a way you internalize it, which is not healthy for you to move forward with. And you are kind of eggshelling around the guys that you're going to be with for quite some time, for 3-4 plus years. And so having the courage to and the confidence to address those things is what kids are dealing with now, and they don't have as much confidence or the courage to actually speak against the things they're struggling with.
And this is what we want to help them with.
Correct.
Right? You talk about the 3 E's when you're helping these young athletes navigate these struggles. What
Correct.
are those E's?
So what are the 3 E's, Rosie?
I could maybe do them after you told me. One of them's energy.
That's right.
One of them's enthusiasm.
Oh, you got one more.
Effort.
That's right.
Is that right?
Yeah,
oh, I passed the quiz.
3 concept. So effort, energy, enthusiasm, all of those things within a balance and a line really give you those successful, intentional results. Mm-hmm. And obviously if they're unaligned, and you may go into a practice we talked about those energy levels. If I'm at a 60% energy level, then it's going to affect my effort, and it's going to affect my enthusiasm. I'm not going to be as excited to be around my teammates, or I may have some issues or problems at home, or my grades may be struggling. So again, those barriers you're carrying with them almost in your pocket as you move along throughout your day. But the three concepts is really just helps kids just navigate, and those are the controllables. Like it's kind of center focused around these are the controllables, and these are the things that I can focus on, and they become, I call them actionable rules.
Yeah.
So it's literally,
and you want
turns
them
into
to communicate.
It turns
hey,
from
if I'm
an
at
idea.
60.
Yep, it turns from an idea to, hey, this is what I need to have in place to have intentional results.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And let your coaches know, let your teachers know.
That's right.
Because if they know what's going on with you, they can help out better.
Correct.
I want to make sure I ask what mental performance coaching actually is.
So mental performance coaching to me is, and I like to use descriptive words because that matters. Mental performance coaching is destroying like mental barriers that affect like an athlete's performance. Mm-hmm. So being able to like navigate, again, we touch on, I call it the trifecta, right? Social, emotional, psychological. Being able to have those three things in a balance, kind of makes you feel, I guess it gives you like a superpower. Mm-hmm. So you have a balance of, all right, socially, like, hey, how do I deal with my interactions, my communications, my relationships? What kind of relationships do I have? Are they valuable? Should I clean closet and build some new ones? The psychological part of it, mental health, is one of the parts that I love because it focuses on the mind, the brain, mm-hmm. how you think, how you process, like how you make decisions, how you connect, basically how you connect the dots. And then obviously the last part is the emotional part. Being self-aware and being able to self-regulate. Again, if given that resource back then, helps you just deal with the challenges of life completely different. Mm-hmm. And you don't go into a hiding like I see. Again, it's really that's what's really pushing me to go after the mental performance coaching, is these kids are dealing with so much, and it's becoming a dominating like thought in their mind. Like, yeah. And so a lot of times, Rosie, it's how do I really checklist like what's circulating in my mind, and with the emotions, it's like, well, if going unchecked, like it can really overshadow, like, because a lot of things, because it's not connected to reality. Mm-hmm. So if they would, sometimes I would be told, it's like facts over feelings. Well, sometimes it is important for us to say, like, what's the reality of my thoughts? Like, mm-hmm. Is this real? Is this true about me? So if we can give kids those strategies to overcome those barriers, then it helps them to, it's like the roadmaps that they can follow. Yeah. So they can get to optimal, and not even to me, outside of the sport, holistically looking at the entire kid. Because you being an athlete doesn't define who you are. And your mistakes doesn't define who you are.
That's such an important thing to say.
Yeah. I
happen to be athletic. I happen to play, but if I lose that spot on the team, it doesn't change forevermore
that is
who
correct.
I am. Oh man,
That's
I could
correct.
talk for a lot longer with you, but we're going to have to stop it here. Tavares,
right.
Thank you so much
Thank you
for your
having
time.
me.
All right, to learn more about how you can support this nonprofit or get involved, head to MPOWR-culture.com.